Hi, I'm Meryl van der Merwe and I teach the online Scratch class for FundaFunda Academy. To start with, let me just give you a little bit of my own background in programming. When I was a teen many years ago, back in South Africa, where I come from, I took programming at a local high school. I actually had to go from my high school and catch a bus to this high school. And we learned Fortran and COBOL in the 3 years I took it. When I went to college, I actually did a degree in English and German, but I also did do computer science as one of my classes. And when I finished college, I ended up working at Shell, Royal Dutch Shell in South Africa, in the programming department, running their payroll. So I worked as a programmer for a number of years and then eventually worked from home coding for my husband's business. And then we moved to the USA and I started homeschooling. I quickly realized that there was a gap in the marketplace because not many homeschool moms knew how to code, and at that point there weren't even many online classes available. I first started teaching in our local co-op and I moved those to online classes as I realized it was much easier for a kid to actually watch my video, stop, rewind it if they weren't sure and watch it again, than me having a live class with kids all at different stages. So this was, I discovered, a lot more effective actually putting it online. You will now find many classes online, so why mine? Well, the first thing I would say is that ours is all graded. We do look and see how the children are coding, because there are better ways of coding and worse ways. And so we do give suggestions if the students aren't doing it in the most efficient way possible. We also give help because everybody's going to get stuck sometime. And if you're taking one of these free classes, the problem there is that when you get stuck, there is no help. And I know, having been a programmer, both a student programmer and then later even in the workplace, that you need someone else's eyes sometimes to find where you are going wrong. The other reason why you might want to take our class is that it's fun. So Scratch is a drag and drop language. It means that the children do not have to remember the actual syntax, the actual spelling, because that matters when you're coding. But Scratch was designed to get younger people interested in coding. It's even used in colleges as an intro to programming class because it's just really accessible to new programmers. Our classes can be started as young as 5th grade and are suitable all the way through 12th grade. High schoolers can use it as a half credit in computer programming. So what we do is I actually code with the children watching me. So I do screencasts and I show them and then I'll stop and I'll say, okay, now you go and try it. And I'll often tell them to tweak it a bit. So, maybe I've walked around the screen twice and I'll tell them, can you do it 4 times? I'll tell them to try and go backwards when I've only shown them how to go forwards. So I let them think it through and then I explain what to do. And as I said, they can always go back and relook, etc. Every week they program a different game, something they can send to family and friends to do. So it gives immediate satisfaction that kids learn quickly how to actually do something that they can share with other people. Scratch is all free and you just get a link once you've coded, so it's really easy for them to share it with family and friends. They can just send the link and people can see it. So it's a really good way to impress grandparents. Send them an e-card or send them a little game, which they probably won't be able to win. It's always my problem. I have to have teaching assistants help me do the grading because I'm not very good at playing the games that my students create. So obviously at the beginning, they're really simple games, just kind of like chasing something around the screen. They'll get all the way up to platformer games, to shooting games, Flappy Bird, if you still remember, that was a craze for a time. We do a similar one to that. We do hidden objects games, so literally every week is something different, and every time I add a little bit of new techniques and maybe some new bits of code to what they already know. I show them how to do everything they need to do, and then they get to put it together. And obviously as they progress, I try and give them more and more autonomy as they go along, and they get to tweak the games to make it to be quite what they want it to be. So by the end of it, they will have learned all the basic coding concepts that they need to know to carry on afterwards. They will know everything they need to know about Scratch, but they'll be ready then to take it to the next level if they discover a love for coding. And if they decide this is not something they want to continue with, they still will have learned terminology, and they will have learned basically what programming is. They will have learned to problem solve, and they will have learned to persevere through the errors they've made. They'll have learned how to be creative with coding. So there are a lot of more benefits to just learning how to code, and it will help them to understand the world around them and just how the devices and things that they have work. So even if they decide they don't want to carry on going with coding, I think this will be a good experience for them. It'll be fun, and as I said, we are there to help, so it's not a frustrating experience. If you think your child is maybe younger and you're not sure that they'll actually manage a full semester class, we do have an option that's broken into 5 weeks. So we have a beginner, intermediate, and advanced class, which is exactly the same as the full semester class. The full semester just also has a big final project, which takes it to 16 weeks. But it's the content is the same, and it's still graded, and that one is self-paced, but we do still grade it. So you can pick that option also if you say perhaps want to rather do it over the summer. We do offer it as a summer class. As I said, if you've got younger kids and you think, I'm not sure they're going to actually continue all the way through to the end, let me just get a 5-week class to start and let's see how they go. Because once you've done that, you can then move on to the intermediate and the advanced if you find that they really love it. So I hope that this has been helpful for you to understand a bit of what they'll get to do. And if you go look in the comments below, I will link both to the product itself that you can go and have a look at, and I'll also link to some games that students from the past have created so that you can get some idea what your child will be doing.